whenever I go to non-Jeep automotive events and they see my Gladiator with the tent and rack on it and everything, they ask me, is that something I can get from Jeep? So to my knowledge, it's not yet, but I don't know if that's part of the future.
Yeah, Gary, we don't have any really good stuff there yet. We've tested the water with way out and far out, and I think we need to probably speed up getting there. Send me some pictures of your rig, and I'll see what you're talking about and see if we can speed some of that stuff up.
We introduce regular product giveaways happening here on the Jeep Talk Show every month and sometimes every week. The world's most downloaded Jeep podcast will be giving you, the listener, a chance to win serious gear from major companies that you know, love, and trust. You want a chance to win tires, suspension components, maybe more? Listen every week for your chance to win big.
Nexen Tire USA, we got you. Find out more about the tires that are on the 2021 Jeep Talk Show Gladiator, the Nexen Tire Rodian MTX at nexentireusa.com.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast. Are you ready? It's the Jeep Talk Show with Wendy.
There will be body damage.
Chuck.
I like making people laugh. It's good for my soul.
Josh.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And Johnny.
I think that's a huge deal.
So sit back, strap in, and brace yourself.
Yes, brace yourself indeed. I usually prattle on here for about 10 or 15 minutes, just talking to myself, talking to you, and we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to jump right in because we've got two very special guests. So first we have Tom Zielinski of Z Performance and 4Fest Events. Tom is the creator and organizer of 4Fest Events, and that's 4 like the number 4 Fest Events. We also have Jim Morrison with us tonight. Jim is the head of Jeep North America. I know I'm palpitating myself here because it's just a big thing for us to have somebody on Jeep. When you love something so much and you do a podcast for so many years about it, it's great to have somebody from Jeep come on, and especially somebody at such the pinnacle in the Jeep organization. So visit 4festevents.com. That's 4 with the number 4, 4festevents.com. And of course, Jeep.com. You've been there. You've been shopping for Jeeps for a very long time. So, Tom, I want to thank you for being with us tonight and inviting your friend, Jim, to join. Jim, is it okay for me to call Tom your friend?
Yeah, for sure. He got me out of a few, sticky situations. Winched me out of some hard places, got me into some hard places. So I think, we're definitely in friend territory. In fact, my favorite thing that I've ever done with him is I was driving an engineering prototype Wrangler, and it had a plastic bumper on it. I actually bent the license plate, and it was really cold. I think it was -10, and the bumper popped back out, but the license plate stayed bent. So we've been into some trouble together for sure.
There may or may not be some photographs from that particular incident off-roading, but those photographs will never come out, of course. And the number of times that we may have had engineering prototypes out there, Jim taking one for the team as a true off-roader and going out there and figuring out what stuff the engineering team needs to know about, and maybe taking it a little beyond its intended capability from time to time.
Well, that's what I thought. We were talking, Chris from 7slats.com and our guest acquisition person for the show. We were talking to Tom on a Zoom meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I was very happy to hear that Jim, you were a Jeeper yourself, and it just made me feel better about the Jeep brand, that somebody was leading it that has the Jeepers' concerns at heart.
Oh, you know what? It's really the Jeep. Customers that drive the brand, and we're just here to listen to them and do what they're looking for, and the best way to do that is to listen to them on the trails, and it certainly doesn't hurt that I love doing it, and unfortunately spent more of my holiday until painting parts. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, is listening to our customers and having a little bit of fun off road. But yeah, for sure, there's always a Wrangler or a Gladiator in my driveway, and it's got a winch because it's always getting pushed hard, and you can never have the Jeep guy stuck, right? So I always have a winch, and we always have find places to go, but we're always pushing the limits and having a little bit of fun. But the family trip is kind of me and my boys and family going out to Moab every year, and we've seen Tom out there, and we kind of we're really lucky to have the Hollyoaks Off-Road Park literally in my backyard, here in Michigan, and it's 5 minutes, so you got an extra 20 minutes to play with on a Sunday afternoon, and I can be wheeling, and it's doors and top are usually off, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the weather is. You got a little bit extra time on a weekend, or a Friday, and we find ourselves climbing things and playing off road, which is proper thing when you got a Jeep.
Jim, I was going to ask you what Jeep you have, but I guess it's a rotating cornucopia of Jeeps that you have because you can.
Yeah, I love that's the best part of my job, and sometimes you wonder, okay, what are the keys there? And I got to say, right now I'm driving a Wrangler 4xe Rubicon. It's riding on 37 KO2s. It's got some prototype parts on it that make it really good on road and off road. But I can tell you that 4xe with a 470 pound-feet of torque, it's just unstoppable. And prior to that, I had a 392 in my driveway, and I can tell you, they got the same torque, and you can get, actually in some crazier positions with the electric, because you don't have to manage all the fluids, right? So it can be running in electric mode, and you don't have to really worry about what the engine oil, is at. It could be at 65 degrees, and it doesn't matter. It can still climb. So it's pretty incredible what those electric motors can do, but that's what I've got in the driveway right now. It's a pretty cool Jeep.
Yeah, electric vehicles are certainly the future. They have almost unlimited torque, and it's going to be great whenever we get sufficient power supply that can run them for as long as a gas-powered or diesel-powered engine. But I wish that was going to happen a lot sooner. But we've been reporting on the various Jeeps here on the show over the years, and the 4xe seems to be doing a really good job for you guys.
Yeah, 4xe is actually America's best-selling plug-in hybrid vehicle. And I can tell you that the competition didn't see that one coming.
No, none of us did.
And, and not even close. Like we're lapping second place. And we're just bringing on Grand Cherokee as, we're really going to take that lead and run with it a little bit harder, here. And I can tell you it's just a really good Jeep, and we're getting a lot of customers that just had to have an electric vehicle that are proud to wear the blue tow hooks and the blue badges that we put on the 4xe and call the Wrangler what they've always wanted, and there's a lot of people that are really coming from that angle, and we've been able to do it. But it took us a little bit longer to come to market with an electric Jeep, and that's because it needs to be a real Jeep first, and we're happy to have done that with Wrangler. In fact, it's a busy week for us. I'm just coming from the office. We're getting ready for some big announcements here on Thursday, where we're going to show the world, a couple of all electric vehicles, and we're really kind of building off of the proven formula that we have with Wrangler and 4xe and on Grand Cherokee, and really apply it to more on the range. So it'd be exciting. People should check out Jeep.com. Sounds like a shameless plug there, but it's just, I'm excited because, watching the evolution, I started driving in the 80s and kind of went through small displacement, 4 cylinders and, then 6 cylinders. And then of course, 392 8-cylinder in a Wrangler was the coolest ever. And now I'm really thinking the coolest in the evolution is the electrification. And as we're looking to what we're able to put together is a Jeep who really never cared kind of how the power gets there, just needs to do it better than anybody else and put the power to the ground. And I think, as you look forward, we're going to have, the 4xe electrification is really going to be the next step in our 4x4 legacy, which has always been leadership 4x4 technology.
Yeah, it really sounded like you guys might have been coming in not necessarily late, but later to the electrification. arena, but it really feels like you guys did it right. I'm just interested to see where it's going to go from here. So I know California is starting to make gas-powered vehicles illegal, at least in some time frame in the future. Do you foresee Jeep ever leaving anytime soon the gasoline and diesel-powered arena?
Well, you know what? It'll happen potentially over time, but the nice thing is, like I said before, is the customers really drive the brand, and as we expose them to more and more, technology, and that's the best thing about, you got 392 and 4xe. I would say you couldn't have done one without the other, right? And now we've got both, and our customers have the choice. And as the technology keeps evolving, I personally think, it's going to evolve to electrification over time, but it's going to take some time. And the nice thing is, customers got lots of choice, in the meantime, and we're happy to have that choice for our customers.
Yeah, I like that. Basically, what you're saying is that it really depends on what the customer wants. We're just going to have the vehicle that they want, and it'll be a natural progression, not something that is forced on us, which is wonderful to hear. So, go ahead,
Tony. An interesting point about all this is, and Jim, I can't even remember what year this was, but one of the very early on engineering 4xEs, Jim and I were out off-roading, as we try to do as often as we can, and he brings this thing out, and it's a bare bones sport, nothing on it. And immediately, of course, I'm like, it's an electric Jeep. This is, yeah.
I think you even had Honda Civic tires on it.
It's a fancy Prius. It's a Jeep, a Prius that looks like a Jeep. Go ahead.
Yeah, seriously. And so I was, excuse the play on words, but I was doubting Thomas for sure.
Sure.
And Tim is like, let's try and climb it up that. I'm like, whatever.
Was there a hold my beer involved in that?
No, never any hold my beers, but it was, if Jim is around, there's a lot of, hey, think we can go up that? And so within minutes, I'm like, holy smokes, that thing just went up that. And Jim looks at me and he's smiling, and I said, well, I guess I better change my tune. And since then, with all of these other things, like the one he has now on 37s and all this other stuff, it will definitely change your tune about 4xE and about electrification, because it works for real.
Mm-hmm. No, electrification is great. We just need something that is a lot more, preferably power generating, not something that you have to store in a battery. But I'm all for a fusion reactor. And Jim, if you want to announce that Jeep's coming out with one of those, it would be a great time to mention it. No comment. Oh, I like that.
Too, so yeah.
All right. Well, we're also here to talk to Tom. Tom, tell us about 4Fest events and your relationship with Jeep in these events.
Yeah, well, and that I was just going to say, that immediately circles back around to Jeep. Jim has been a huge supporter of the Hollyoaks ORV Park, and that's kind of where Detroit 4Fest was born. And very early on, Jim got behind that, and we've grown it every year since then into what it is now, where we're pretty well recognized among that community as one of the bigger events, and very proud to have that take place in Detroit. I think it's a little bit unique in the sense that it is, first of all, in Metro Detroit. It's Jim, I don't know how quick it takes you to get up there, but 20 minutes or 22 minutes from Jeep headquarters. And so it's in a metropolitan area at a large off-road park, large and getting larger each season. And so that makes it really unique. And what our vibe from the start was with all of the 4Fest events was we want to have real off-roading events. That's certainly not a shot at any of my colleagues that produce events that are show and shines and all that kind of thing. But we want to really take Jeeps out and go off-roading and have that community come together in that off-roading spirit, which is such a big part of what the Jeep brand stands for. And so that's kind of the way we've approached it, and as a result ended up with Detroit 4Fest, Minnesota 4Fest. In Minnesota, we actually partnered. You guys might remember a guy named Travis Pastrana, and partnered with him in the Nitro Rallycross Series, which has made that into a really exciting event. And then down in Texas for Texas 4Fest, and a relationship with Red Bull and the Red Bull Override. So we just try to keep it really lively, keep it really exciting, and not do the same thing that the other folks that are doing events are doing.
Well, it's kind of what Jeep does. Jeep doesn't do the same thing everybody else does, and that's why Jeep's been being copied since, 1941 or something? So it's great. And I got to jump in here and ask this real quick, because I know that the people in the Zoom meeting are chomping to ask about this, Jim. When are we going to see a 392 and a Gladiator?
That's actually probably the one of the biggest questions I get. Especially talking to my dad. In fact, my dad's probably the reason we have Gladiator, because for forever he was, any conversation I had with him that lasted more than 10 minutes, it was like, hey, we need a Jeep pickup truck. And he's had Wranglers and he's driving the Cherokee now, but he always wanted to have a Jeep pickup truck, and Gladiator has been a great addition to the lineup. And right now we've got both Wrangler and Gladiator, and Wrangler setting records and Gladiator setting records. So, both are kind of adding to the lineup, which is good. It's actually a great question, but you'll get me fired, and it's only Tuesday. So I usually don't like to get fired until Friday. So I could go wheeling on the weekend and feel, but I can tell you, we do listen to our customers, but that's not something I can talk about right now.
No, of course not. But you got to ask, because you can't have anybody say, "Why didn't you ask?" So the other question,
I thought you were going to ask me something fun, like how long do you think it's going to take a competitor to put blue tow hooks on things? And everyone copied our red tow hooks, and now everybody's out there. And we're at design office. We made a nice. Fluorescent tow hook, and we're just going to throw it on the Jeep just to see how long it takes the competitors to copy that. We don't want to really do it that. We just want to see if they're dumb enough to copy us. But it's always fun to have them copy us.
So, Jim, we like to give $1 million Jeep Talk Show ideas here. What do you think about a Christmas-themed tow hook, where it would be like red and white, like a peppermint stick or something? Maybe we could talk some people.
Yeah. Maybe
we could talk some people into indirectly of doing the same thing. That would be hilarious.
Yep, I love it. Yep, that could be the next thing. Yep.
So one more, well, actually a brag and one more question before we turn it over to the Zoom people here. So my brag is, I have my very first Jeep. I've wanted a Jeep since I was probably 16, 17 years old. So that would have been a CJ.
Yep.
But my very first Jeep that I actually got, because by that time I could afford the liability insurance, was a 1998 Jeep Cherokee. And it was in the covered part of the showroom floor, bright red. And we brought that home, and it is still with me today. I've been using it as a daily driver up until a year ago.
4-liter?
Yeah. No. Oh, I'm sorry, 4-liter. Yes, I thought you said 4-cylinder. No, absolutely 4-liter. And
those things will go forever.
Yes.
A little diesely sound a little bit, and when they get a little piston slap, but those things are unstoppable, hey?
Oh, absolutely. And anyway, one owner vehicle, one owner XJ, and our first Jeep, still got it in the garage. It's my backup vehicle now, and I bought the 2021 Gladiator originally as a tow vehicle, and I was just utterly amazed at how capable it is. It's not a Rubicon. It's just a Max Tow Sport S, and it has taken me any place I wanted to go. We've gone to Hidden Falls several times that 4Fest is going to in 2023, I believe, Tom. And great park. I don't know if you've ever been out there, Jim, but it's a great place to go. So
that's actually a really smart purchase, because you get the wide axle with the Max Tow Pack.
Oh yes,
even on the Sport. So yeah.
I tell everybody,
cool.
I tell everybody, it's just like getting a Rubicon axles minus the lockers. Is that a fair assessment?
It is. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep. Those Danas are as strong as they come, and that's a really cool Jeep.
Yeah, it's been great. My wife loves it. I think my wife's driven it more than me, especially with me working from home so much. But anyway, the question I had for you is, Red is such a wonderful color for a Jeep. Why do you guys offer Jeeps in any other color? And why do you like red better than any of the rest of the colors, Jim?
It's because actually, I think so many people started out in red Power Wheels. Remember those little electric Power Wheels, and then they all kind of grew up from there. I'm staring at your red TJ right now or JT. Sorry, it looks really good with the graphics and the rubber and the lift, and yeah, that's a cool looking Jeep. There is, unfortunately, there's some other people, and that's the best thing about diversity is everybody comes up with different colors. And in fact,
trust me, Jim, just do it the way I want it to do it.
Well, here's the fun one: is we did pink, and I chickened out. We were going to do it a few years ago, and I just chickened out. I didn't have the guts for it, and we did it. We did it actually again. Actually, the story behind the story, just to piss a competitor off, but. At the end of the day, our customers kept asking us, give us pink. And my daughter is actually driving a Willys with a pink Willys with 35s. And she does the proper thing with it. She takes the doors off and puts the top off, and it just looks amazing. But the number of people, she said to me the other day, she said, you wouldn't believe the number of people that this color makes smile.
Oh, yeah.
And, and it's just.
Is that the Tuscadero? Is that the Tuscadero pink you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. Tuscadero, and that's just different people have different colors, and that's probably as close to red as we've made. But it's just everybody's got a little bit of a different. Here's my favorite color, I've had 100 Jeeps. They all turn black. I can't make a choice when it comes to, but at the end of the day, it's everybody has their 2 cents. But your red JT looks amazing.
So here's something. This is the only thing you need to remember about red, Jim.
Ooh, red Jeeps are sexy.
There you go. All right, so let's turn this over to the Zoom people. I just want to sit here and talk to you guys all night. Just all these Zoom people in here, but we've got a bunch of them waiting to talk to you. I'm glad that they could show up. So, are you new to the Roundtable? Perhaps new to the Jeep Talk Show? Well, welcome. The Roundtable is listeners like you that connect with us on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. You don't have to be invited. You just need a Zoom meeting link and a password. Everyone is invited because everyone has an opinion or something to share. To get the meeting invite information, subscribe to our newsletter at xjtalk.com/contact. You'll see a lot of stuff on that contact page, so just scroll around. You'll see the newsletter portion of it. And really, that's the only place you need to go to find out how to contact us. And I'll just find out all the things you need to know about the Jeep Talk Show. So we now join the Zoom meeting, which is already in progress. Please keep in mind that what you're about to hear is completely unrehearsed. Nobody wants to take responsibility for it. The opinions may be strong and may or may not reflect the opinion of the Jeep Talk Show. Zoomers, please remember, on your first time speaking, say your first name and location. So, Heidi Ho, Zoom people, thank you for sticking in there with us. Took us a little longer to get to you now, but there you are. Mike's live. Go for it.
Hello. Good evening.
Hey, this is John from Central Texas, and I'll start us off with the first question. Jim, thanks for taking some time to chat with us tonight. And the question I had was around kind of how do you balance the tradition of Jeep with the modern technology that's coming in the automotive industry. You mentioned a little bit, I think, early on about the electronics and everything else, but how do you keep that hardcore, that traditional Jeeper, that history that's around the Jeep brand itself alive as you move towards this new technology?
John, good question. And we spend a lot of time, talking with that, but at the end of the day, we let our customers decide. And, we've obviously, got a little bit of a different space, but, bring a couple of examples, to you. And, I remember, it was back in the JK years, we were talking about, what our customers needed to get a second row in the back seat. And, everyone's saying, oh, no, it's going to get too long. Wheelbase is going to crush you off road. And, it'll never really work. And we convinced ourselves not to do it for probably 5 years. And then we finally, I had twins and we ended up having to figure out a way to stuff another seat in the back. And what turned out to be the absolute right thing, because it expanded Wrangler for so many people. A great other example is, in power mirrors. We held on to, manual mirrors. In fact, we're still one of the only, automotive manufacturers that you can still get a vehicle without power windows, power door locks, all that stuff. So we're probably the ones that kind of hold on to, hold on to history kind of longer than most. But we try to let our customers kind of guide to, the right time to make these changes and obviously make sure that the technology is right when the time comes. So sometimes it means we're a little bit later to the marketplace, like we are right now with coming in with electrification. But you'll see here later this week that we've gone from, this time last year really just selling one 4xe or one electric Wrangler, and now we got electric Wrangler, electric Grand Cherokee, and you'll see here by the end of the week we got even some real cool stuff coming around the corner. So it's really, the technology guides us there, but most importantly, it's our customers that say, hey, give this to us, and what we'll do is we'll probably run a little bit longer than most would at kind of holding on to the old tech until we're sure that it's not needed anymore.
Hey, Jim, Steve from outside of Chicago here. So, fuel economy has always been a concern for car manufacturers. Has that been accelerating over the past few years, or does it remain the same?
It's fuel economy. Well, fuel economy is kind of driven from two perspectives. One is it's coming from our customers that since I've been at Jeep, they've always been asking for, hey, give me a better ride, give me better fuel economy. So customers have been asking for it for a while, and then the amount of fuel economy kind of goes up and down with gas prices. And but then obviously there's the government regulations that say you got to get better by this date, this date, this date. And kind of those two are pretty close, when they merge over time. And the nice thing is, we've been able to add extra technology to our Jeeps and get the extra fuel economy they're looking for, and still hold on to, the capability. And we really push really hard to make sure that we always, every time we touch a Jeep, we make it more capable. And kind of with those guiding principles, we're able to, line up with what our customers are looking for and what the government is telling us we need to do.
Awesome. It's kind of hard making a brick aerodynamic.
Greg here from Michigan. So one of the other things that
we are the bricks. Sorry, you the Michigan?
Oh yeah, Greg in Michigan. One of the other things I know Jim hit a lot on it, customer base, but there's been a little thing inside of Jeep for a long time. I know most of them are gone now, but if you look at my screen, there's these guys, and these guys were really, really instrumental in making sure that Jeep stayed to their roots. Jim, do you want to talk about them at all? Can you see the screen?
No, he can't see the screen, Greg. So.
Oh, okay. The Lunatic Fringe, which was, I'm holding one of their shirts up right now, but
Jim Rep. Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah. So Jim Rep. I actually had the fortune of working on Jim Rep's rig, but Jim Rep and Dave Yegi and Phil Toney and Dave Thompson and all the guys. They were.
Yeah, Dave's over at AEV now. Yeah.
Yep, Dave's at AEV. In fact, Dave brought me to AEV when I worked there. But those guys, they really pushed. And I think Jim Allen not Jim Allen. Why did I say that? Mark Allen. He was a member.
Mark.
Yep. But yeah, those guys, it was really near and dear to their hearts that Jeep stayed true. And so many of the new guys that are at Jeep right now, Brandon and Scott Bloom and a bunch of them, they're still the same core. So they're going to keep Jeep the way that it is for the most part. You have to move with technology, but they're just phenomenal guys and a phenomenal team that Jeep has put together over the last 30 years and still have wonderful people. So didn't want them not to get any credit.
Oh, that's
it's
good.
interesting to hear you say. Go ahead, Jim. Finish that thought.
No, I was just saying every year I think one of the most fun things we do and Brandon's been a key part of it. Mark Allen lives it. The stuff that we build for Easter Jeep Safari is still, there's probably half Lunatic Fringe in what we build.
Yeah.
For those.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to work on some of those. So.
Yeah, and that's always, but it's our customers that, that help guide us with that kind of stuff. And we'll never let that go. That's what makes Jeep Jeep.
Hey, Jim, this is Gary from Alabama. Speaking of Easter Jeep Safari, I noticed that a couple of concepts have been built out before for Gladiator, like the Safari and the Far Out. And they incorporated different elements for overlanding on them. Look like, bed racks, tents, etc. My question is, does Jeep have any plans to offer any type of equipment like this in the future, or are they going to partner with the aftermarket to do it that's going to bear the Jeep logo on it? One of the reasons I ask this is whenever I go to non-Jeep automotive events and they see my Gladiator with the tent and rack on it and everything, they ask me, is that something I can get from Jeep? And so to my knowledge, it's not yet, but I don't know if that's part of the future coming.
Yeah, Gary, we don't have any really good stuff there yet. We've tested the water with Way Out and Far Out, and I think we need to probably speed up getting there. Send me some pictures of your rig, and I'll see what you're talking about and see if we can speed some of that stuff up, because I think as more and more people get into understand what the outdoors are. I mean, we've got our feet firmly planted on the Rubicon and in Moab and the hardcore stuff, but there's a lot of overlanding that customers are getting into, and we're going to continue to move in that direction, but maybe not fast enough for some. But send me pictures of your rig and I'll take a look.
All right, fantastic, thank you.
Hey guys, this is can you guys hear me?
I can.
All right, great. Yeah. This is Walt Middleton, Columbus, Ohio. Apologize, I'm not on Zoom very often, so this is my first time trying this. My question is about training. A lot of different car manufacturers over the years have had vehicle training and driver training, and safety and driver training is kind of near and dear to my heart. I'm wondering if Jeep there's training all over the place you can get, but I don't see a lot that Jeep does themselves. And I'm wondering if that's something that you guys have ever contemplated or possibly could do in the future.
Hey, Jim, you mind if I jump on that one just real quickly?
Yeah, go to it, Tom.
Well, it's something that
I've been talking way too much anyway. Go ahead.
No, it's good. That is something that is near and dear, and I know I can speak for Jeep when I say this, near and dear to Jeep's heart. For a manufacturer to necessarily go out there and do that kind of thing isn't all that practical, but to talk to that point, I was involved, compliments of Jim, I was involved in one of the first Jeep Adventure Academies, and a great colleague and friend of Jeep, Pierce Umloff, is putting on these Jeep Adventure Academies. And one of our biggest things with all of our 4Fest events has been to offer off-road 101 courses so that people that have just purchased a Wrangler or a Gladiator, or for that matter, a Cherokee, a Trailhawk, whatever it might be, have the opportunity to come out and learn how to competently and safely, as you brought up, take their vehicle and go do things that they never dreamed were possible. And so to that end, I think it's a huge part of where this industry is going. And it's interesting, and Jim, you're not in the loop on this, but we've actually added a bunch of additional off-road 101 sessions at our 4Fest events this year. And we will have, over the course of the weekend of those events, we will have 150 to 170 people go through off-road 101 classes. And some of these people are so novice that they're like, the other lever in the middle, do I ever pull that back? What do I do, And so there is nothing for me as a guy who puts on events and who works closely with the brand. There is nothing more rewarding than watching somebody who thought that they couldn't go off-roading, couldn't be part of this adventure lifestyle, and they go out and after a day, or maybe it's a couple of days, they are competent and safe at going off-roading. And I know Jim and I have talked about this a bunch, and Jim, jump in there, but I think that for sure for us is one of the most rewarding things.
It is. And, once you're hooked, and the next thing you know, you're spending, even more time, upfitting your rig and making it more capable. And the next thing you know, you're listening to podcasts and figuring out how to, do more with your Jeep and hook up with more, people like you. And it's part of the community. So more that we get people to learn about their Jeeps and see what they can do, it's better for everybody all around.
So, and I hope this is the right Todd. Todd's here. He actually has a class that he has here in Texas that I went to, offroading101.com. Todd, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you've had a lot of fun teaching people how to use their brand new Jeeps off-road and doing it without damaging the Jeeps, which I thought was a plus.
Yeah, that's correct. We've put quite a few students through our classes, and I can't say that. I couldn't agree more. I enjoy watching the people come through because we get people coming through with paper plates, never been in four-wheel drive. It's the first four-wheel drive vehicle, and by the end of the class, I usually have to apologize at the beginning of class for the addiction I am about to create. And by the end of the class, they're going, yeah, I'm hungry for more.
Oh, so, it's just so much fun. I went out there and took a 101 class. I've been off-roading before, but I went out there and took a 101 class from them, and it was great. I mean, there was stuff I didn't know about the Gladiator, how you can climb up a hill, and it will apply the brakes for you for, what was it, Todd, 2 or 3 seconds, so that you can kind of get your bearings and control the Jeep better. It was really neat. I mean, having the XJ, I don't know nothing about no electronic controls.
The one thing I can tell you about our electronic controls is almost every one of them, came from a holy shit moment that we all had, right?
Yes.
So, the first time we didn't just automatically event the hill descent control to work in reverse. It was like, okay, we got way too out of shape going up a hill and realized when we were coming backwards down the hill too fast. Hey, wouldn't it be nice if we just used the chassis electronics to turn on the hill descent control that works in forward and reverse too? So, some of it is, we like to think is really smart engineering, but some of it is just, us learning ourselves from bad situations. But
the biggest advances,
for the Jeep in the end.
Yeah, the biggest advances in science have also often been accidental, Jim.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the biggest.
I can tell you that almost happens with Jeeps.
One of the biggest features I love talking about in class, and I think y'all nailed this one, is for the manual transmissions. When you're in 4-low, being able to start the vehicle in gear and watching it go uphill.
Hey, thanks.
I don't know if that was planned or not, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it actually, I don't know the history all the way back, but I think CJ's did it. And I remember when we launched TJ, we talked about it. That's one of those features that we still hold on. We probably don't do enough to explain to our customer base what it's all about, but the manual, the population of drivers, keeps dwindling, but that's something that, as long as I'm in charge, we'll keep doing, because that's good. You use your starter to climb over the rocks, and it's something that's, part of, being a really true off-roader and understanding what your rig can do. And that's one of those pieces of technology, I think that John was asking about is, how long do you hold on to those things? Well, some of that stuff is just always good to have. So that's a good one.
Hey, I want to thank you real quick for those answers. So I think I told you training is near and dear to my heart. I've been doing that for a long time with teaching people how to drive off-road and how to be safe off-road. And you guys nailed it right on the head. The seeing people's face when they drive away from one of your classes and them realizing, stuff that's as simple to you and I as left foot braking, and they walk away or they drive away realizing, wow, this Jeep will do this with that. And I love it. That's always been my favorite thing about it.
Jeeps are just absolutely amazing. I've just been so happy that I got into one. And I say this on the show quite often. Everybody seems to have wanted a Jeep sometime in their life. Don't be one of those people that think you're too old or it's too impractical. Get a Jeep. You are going to be very happy you did. You don't have to take it off-road. I recommend you do, because it's just amazing. But don't have fun in your life. Get a Jeep. Walt, do you have a group name or something that you go by on your classes? Feel free to pop it up here. You don't need to hold back.
So I'm actually one of the instructors with Overland Expo. I teach some of the driver training courses there.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I will, here I am an event promoter, and technically Lindsay and Jessica are my competitors. but I give them tons of credit, and they're doing a great job. And I even said to the Jeep team last week on a conference call that that's a place that Jeep belongs more involved in. And, not talking them out of being involved in our events because we're super grateful, but the fact of the matter is they're doing a great job, and you guys are doing an excellent job with the instruction, and it's fantastic. And I give Lindsay and Jessica and the whole team a lot of credit for that.
I'm sorry, Walt. I didn't realize you were a competitor. I'm going to have to cut you out of this episode, so you understand.
I'm definitely not a competitor. I'm very much a Jeep person at heart, and I teach at other Jeep shows too. That's where I started doing my off-road driver training stuff. So,
yeah, I do the same. Here in Michigan,
good.
I built a 7-acre off-road park in the backyard just to teach my customers what these vehicles are capable of.
You wanted some place to play, Greg.
No, surprisingly, it was when I was at AEV, we didn't have a good place, and because I had the property, I decided I would just build it in my backyard. I was dealing with Dave from International 4-Wheel Drive Trainers, and he kind of gave me a layout of all the different things that would be best for new Jeep owners and even built Jeep owners. But there's so many places around the country. We've got phenomenal people, Nina Barlow out in Arizona and Moab, and Dan Mick, and so many other places where you can go as a brand new Jeep owner. I don't think we should put it on Jeep Corporate's headquarters, on their shoulders, because we do have a phenomenal outreach program in the United States and the world to teach proper off-roading, because it really is important.
I completely agree with you, Greg. They just need to keep making the drug. If they keep making the drug, we'll do the rest.
100%.
Another quick point, guys, to dwell on as we're talking about teaching off-roading, and this is my little shameless plug. I'm on the board of directors of Tread Lightly, and Nina's a great part of what we do, and we love that. But the fact of the matter is, the other part is teaching this level of responsibility to people that go off-roading. Jeeps are so incredibly capable. They can go almost anywhere, but it doesn't mean that we need to literally take them everywhere. And so that's a great part of that training as well.
And you don't have to.
I'm glad you're on the board of directors at Tread Lightly. In fact, this Jeep over my shoulder is going to be in your hands in a couple months. So this one's a partnership between Quadratech and Tread Lightly, and you guys will have this right after SEMA.
Greg, did you say unofficial use only when you introduced yourself? I don't think you did you?
I don't think I did. I'm not trying to plug myself.
Oh, plug away, man. Plug away.
But yeah, for anybody that's not always on these calls, I'm Greg Henderson, unofficial use only. I've got a small shop in Michigan, about 30 minutes north of the tech center, and I've been involved with Jeeps for 25 years, but I do a lot of crazy SEMA builds. So, but I like to stick to the roots. And my mentors were all the lunatic fringe guys. In fact, my biggest mentor was a guy named Phil Toney, who we lost last year, but Jim Rep and Yegi was one of my first Jeep mentors. So, love Jeeps, love the passion, and I build a lot of things. But this one over my left shoulder, which people are whining about seeing the back, I'll actually give you guys a sneak peek just for fun, because I'm not hiding it anymore. And for those of you who can see it, as I walk around,
easy, Tony.
It is a brand new 4xe. So it's got less than 100 miles on it, and I cut it in half, and I'm turning it into a two-door Gladiator.
And Greg, in fairness, I was already in the loop on this a little bit, so I guess
I know you are.
Makes me a cheater.
But for everybody else, because a lot of the people that have been on these calls I haven't shown them the back end of it, what I've been doing. So just like Jeep built for Jeep Safari a couple of years ago, they did the blue two-door Gladiator. This is essentially the same thing. So this is going to be a two-door Jeep Gladiator built off of a 4xe platform. I am extending the bed, so the Gladiator bed will be about 10 inches longer than the traditional Gladiator bed.
Oh, you'll be able to carry a 4x8 sheet of plywood, is what you're saying.
No, it's only 10 inches longer.
Oh.
With the tailgate down, and if you widen the wheel wells, you could. But it is 100% 4xe, so it's going to have the electric blue accents and a few other things. It is being built for Quadratech, so it will be green. but yeah, it's this doesn't look like much right now, but this will be in paint in about a week and a half, and then we'll debut it at SEMA, and then Tread Lightly. So this is part of a 50 for 50 program where Quadratech is sponsoring Tread Lightly and 50 trail cleanups across the U.S. So we're going to do some fun graphics for that, and in the end, Tread Lightly is going to get to play with it before anybody else in the world. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And Greg, I think I speak for everybody. We all simultaneously hate you and love you. But
hey,
we're
Greg,
all hating the cricket in this garage right now.
I know. He's got a cricket in there.
Yeah. Hey, Greg. So the next of the Quadratech 50 and 50 cleanups is next week at Hollyoaks ORV Park before Detroit 4Fest. And Jim and his team have been super gracious, and a bunch of the Jeep folks are going to be there helping with that cleanup. So lots of kudos to Jeep.
Ted from Quadratech called and invited me. So I think Thursday. So even though I'm in the middle of the project, I'll stop for a day. I'm actually going to drive one of Phil Tony's, which he was the originator of the Lunatic Fringe. I'm going to drive one of his personal YJs down and hang out for the day, and then get my butt back to work.
No rest for the wicked, right?
No. I'm because I'm still waiting for parts. Like from Mopar, I've got a lot of parts that are on back order, and I'm just stressing out over getting them. Bed floors and body sides and things like that. So I'm working from 9 a.m. until about 3 a.m. every day right now. So one day off is needed, but stresses me out at the same time. But I wouldn't miss your event because I've heard only wonderful things about it.
Well, thanks so much, and we for sure appreciate that, and we'll talk about some of those parts when I see you next week, and maybe we could try to help Jim. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but we'll talk about that next Thursday, and when we're all together, and I really appreciate the support for Detroit 4Fest and for Tread Lightly and all of that. I definitely do. So thank you, Greg. I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Oh, no problem. And I'm going to shut my mic off until somebody asks me another question, because apparently I have bad crick pits.
Hey, for the guy who said he was on Tread Lightly's board, I wanted to, thank you, honestly. I'm working with Scott Ammerman to get the 50 for 50, one of those events to happen here in Columbia, in Ohio. And you guys are great. I support everything that the Tread Lightly people are doing. So, and like I said, I really appreciate the 50 for 50 thing that Quadratech's doing as well, just to get that out there more.
Yeah, and thank you so much for saying that. Just seriously, and I guess everybody deserves a lot of credit, but I'll give a big shout out to Matt Caldwell, the executive director of Tread Lightly, who just keeps his foot on the throttle at all times, and all of the other folks around Tread Lightly as well that are just doing fantastic work, and of course the whole team at Quadratech for stepping up. And I guess it would probably be appropriate at this moment, with Jim Morrison on the line, to mention who was responsible for bringing forth the affiliate purchase program for everybody that wanted to buy a Jeep. And I'll let Jim talk about that for a minute, but that was directly involving Jim, and he deserves a lot of credit, and his huge support for Tread Lightly is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I think, great organization, and we've had a lot to do with them for a long time, and happy to kind of pass that on, to those customers that are part of the Jeep world, through Tread Lightly. So look forward to catching up with you next week too, Greg, and let me know what I can do to help with that list of parts. And although I think half the fun is actually, working until 3:00 in the morning the night before, but that we can take a little bit of the stress out of the system. We can sure do what we can to help. So lots going on in the supply chain world, but happy to help.
And in the world of shameless plugs, I'll mention that on back on episode 501, we interviewed Evan Robbins of treadlightly.org. So you might, I'm sure you guys know a lot about Tread Lightly, but go back and check out that episode.
Yeah, and
Evan is one of the smartest humans ever in that regard, and is just a fantastic addition to Tread Lightly. So that guy deserves a ton of credit and is a warrior for sure.
Jim, this is Larry from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm curious. I was out there at EJS and seen the Magneto build, and I figured that the full electric model is probably on the near horizon. What are the odds that it'll retain the manual shifter or the 4 or 5 speed?
Hey, Larry, I can tell you that I probably have more time driving the Magneto than anybody else. And it's fun because it's not really even a manual. It's just, pick a kind of a speed or a torque, set that you want and you go with it. So we could probably do that, with a twin stick, and an automatic, but that was more kind of this is the technology that fits into the Jeep. One of the things that I can tell you is that we will always have manuals, as long as I have something to say about it, because I think that's a key part of what people like to interact with, from the Jeep side. But I think the nice thing is with electric motors is you almost don't need anything more than one gear, because of the way that they kind of split up. But we'll try to keep that interaction with the customers in play all the way through, because I think that's important.
Yeah, it kind of gives it a not so electric vehicle feel, right? It gives it a little nostalgic feel to it as well.
It does. Because I got time for one more question, and then I got to bolt.
All right, Zoom people, give Jim your question. I think I would, if I was John, I'd ask about the locker thing.
So I'll go ahead and throw it out there then. So we had a big conversation on a previous episode about the a la carte ordering process and the ability to do things like order lockers on non-Rubicon models, and understanding the complexity of lines and all that around there. Do you ever see that as a possibility to kind of order more of the off the shelf, or either through the performance division or whatever, to be able to order some of those things on non-Rubicon models?
Yeah, it's like the Gladiator I got with the Max Toe. I've got pretty much everything on the axles with the exception of the lockers, and it would be nice if that had been an option to add lockers to that.
They looked at that at one time. The J7 Stripper was basically that platform. But yeah, Jim, what are your thoughts on that?
I think a couple things. One is, I think one of the cool things is people being able to modify their vehicles, and the other part of it is kind of when the manufacturing, complexity kind of hits us, because sometimes what we think is really cool just means some of our suppliers can't deal with that number of complexity pieces that we could actually slow the whole plant down. And as you guys know, we got that plant humming 7 days a week to keep up with Wrangler demand and Gladiator demand. So got to thank the men and women in Toledo that are they're working their butts off to keep up with demand. And sometimes when we go too far towards the kind of a la carte, we can slow the machine down too much. So it's always a good balance that that we're looking at. I like to give our customers the options, and then the other side of it is the part of the fun of having a Jeep is to to have it completely customized and part of just yours. So I think one of the things that you kind of hit on, which I think is maybe the sweet spot, is how do you take Jeep performance parts or Jeep Extreme Performance to the next level, and that's always some fun stuff for us to look at. So maybe there's more for that in the future.
Hey, Jim, I know you need to run. Thank you very much for making time for us tonight. Tom, thank you for asking Jim to be with us. It was great having somebody, finally having somebody from Jeep on that we can talk to. And Jim, I'll kind of put you on the spot. You don't have to answer, but I would love to be able to speak with more people with Jeep, especially those people that are responsible for creating these things that we love so much. So I may be begging and groveling in the future.
No, yeah, reach out whenever you want, and happy to help, because I think, Tony, I wrote down, I think your quote of the night is have fun in your life, get a Jeep. I think you may find that on the top of xjtalk.com, our website, tomorrow morning. You may know why, but it's always good for us to stay connected. To I call it the real world, but you don't have to twist our arms very hard to connect with the Jeepers, because that's always part of what we like to do in the weekends, and just happy to get paid for it in the weeks as well. You got my number. Reach out to me whenever you want, and be happy to come back on. But more importantly, the other guys like Greg mentioned, Brandon, the rest of the team, Mark Allen, we can make all those guys available, whatever you need.
Wonderful. That is great. I really appreciate it. Gosh, Tom, I'm sending you the check now.
Yeah, sure. Nice talking to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Have a good night.
You. Bye, Jim. Have a good night. Okay, bye.
Thanks, Jim.
That was a lot of fun. Tom, thank you so much for making that happen. And if I wasn't clear, we were talking to Chris and I, sevenslats.com, and I were talking to Tom the other day, and he was dropping several names. Not a bad thing, Tom, but you dropped Jim Morrison's name, and I interrupted you. I said, "Hey, any chance we could get him on the show?"
Wasn't desperate or anything, were you, Tony?
Oh, gee. I mean, it's just so, you love the Jeep brand, and to have an opportunity to speak with anybody from Jeep is just a wonderful thing, because you're talking to the people, like I said, that's making the drug that you just enjoy so much. It's just an incredible vehicle. And Tom, and I know I've mentioned this to you before. It's not that I don't dislike the Bronco. It's just the problem I have with the Bronco is it's not a Jeep.
No, it's not. It's the independent, blah, blah, whatever. But another one, Tom, I noticed the guys were mentioned in training classes and stuff, and you're doing a little bit at your shows. If you ever need help, we'll meet next week, but I'll give you my information, and I'm really good friends with the International Four-Wheel Drive Trainers Association, and maybe we can really set up some really good content for your shows.
Would love it. It just makes me feel so good when I watch people, and look, I'm off-road several days a week because my office and warehouse is next to Hollyoaks ORV Park, but
then you're right up the street. You're only 20 minutes away.
Yeah. Oh, no, literally my office and warehouse is next to the park. And, okay. But I get to see a lot of things, and so many times you'll see somebody in the parking lot, or they're over getting a flag put on their vehicle, and you're kind of assuming as they're putting on their ORV sticker and so on, they're probably new to this, and you chat them up a little bit, and they're like, well, we're kind of nervous, but we're going to go out. And I'm like, just let's head out. I've got a couple of minutes. Let's go out and experience some things. And, you bring up something like, did you air down? And they go, do what with the air?
Oh, yeah. I've done videos on air because it's such an important thing. But same thing, I've worked with Warren and Super Winch, and there's a new winch coming out called Nova Winch. And done some training videos for them, but teaching people how to use their equipment in a safe manner. It's so important, because you are talking about a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pound vehicle that gets stuck in something and creates a 10,000, 20,000 pound load, and things can get dangerous. But it really is fun to teach somebody about what these vehicles are capable of. I mean, you go to a dealership and grab a Rubicon. People don't realize you can drive up the side of the building. In a stock Rubicon. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm grateful. I have a lot of great people around me, Jim and Diane Kitson, and I know you know Jim.
Yep.
But just tons of other people around me that all help out with this, and some of the local clubs and so on. And there's lots of conversations about now that we're not using metal cables and it's synthetic ropes for winches and all that other stuff. But the fact of the matter is there's still a lot of curious situations.
Yeah.
We have a back and forth on here, Tom, between the synthetic. Everybody's synthetic, and I'm saying I'll go synthetic whenever pointy sticks, rocks, and the sun doesn't destroy it.
Yeah, it's between synthetic and steel. I mean, steel has its place. But synthetic, even though it costs more, I advocate for it just for the simple fact it's safer.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it does store kinetic load. It just doesn't store as much of a kinetic load. So if a synthetic line does snap because of usually improper use, it's not coming back at you, and it's not going to break bones. There's stories out there that a winch line will cut you in half. I think even Mythbusters proved that that's not true. However, it can cause some serious damage. It can break you. It can break your vehicle. You might spend a little bit extra money for synthetic, but by all means, it's definitely worth it when it's your life on the line or your kid's life on the line.
But Greg, I think that the danger zone thing. I think we've all have dated that woman that is a bit dangerous, and we still remember her. We're not with her, but we still remember her. So there's
100%.
There's some excitement there in that danger. And Bill is shaking his head.
Danger can be costly too, Tony.
Danger can be costly.
Absolutely.
And it really is. When you think of your kids or somebody else's kids or the thousands of dollars of damage that winch line can cost to the front of your vehicle or somebody else's, I still love steel cable, right? It has its purpose. But another thing is these new Jeepers, the new JKs, JLs, Gladiators, once they're fully outfitted, they weigh a ton. And saving that extra 30 pounds is really nice too.
Yeah.
Anytime you can save a little bit of weight, it's a good thing. So I understand the benefit of both, but I'm voting synthetic, even though, and I always buy the good stuff, right? I get it right from ASR, which is an American manufacturer, and it costs more, right? It costs more than the stuff that comes on some of the winches from China.
The synthetic stuff is going to get better, and whenever it does, I'm fine with it. But I'm serious about the UV. You got to put sunscreen on the fiber, or put a cover on it or something. So it's fine.
Everybody should come with it, right? All the good winch lines come.
I wouldn't know. I've never bought one.
Yep. So the protective layer, not only when you spool your winch up, you're supposed to put that on the last, so it's the last wrap, and it protects the winch line from the UV. You use that same piece when you're going across a rock or a tree or anything else, so that
you're talking about the cover.
Stock.
Yeah, the cover. Okay, I thought you were applying lotion or something. No, I understand.
No applying lotion. It rubs the lotion on the skin.
Yes.
So I'm gonna jump in here on the winch line issue here, and it's a great argument, and I totally agree with everyone where there's a place for synthetic and a place for steel. Coming from a climbing rope background, I got a whole nother way for you to think about this for synthetic winch lines as well as steel winch lines. They're both wear items. So you're worried about the UV breaking them down. While in climbing ropes, you take one big fall on a rope, you retire that rope immediately.
Well, it's cursed, obviously.
Well, it's because you just put a dynamic stretch on it, and they already have a high stretch load anyways. Once you stretch that to a point, you're supposed to retire it immediately because one big fall, you've damaged the rope enough. It protected you. It's his job, but then you got to retire it. Now, with the braided synthetic lines that we have for winch lines, it's not the same thing exactly, but you have to look at it still as being a wear item. You use it 50 times a year. I mean, honestly, after 2 years, you may want to start thinking about replacing that winch line pretty quick because
and same thing with steel. Same thing with steel. Steel, it stretches, it starts to fray, it starts to wear, and you need to replace it. Whether you love it or not.
Well, you have to. I mean,
that line.
You have to do it with Jeep parts. So obviously, you'd have to do it with the synthetic line or the winch line. Hey, Tom,
with Jeep parts, though, you break it, you replace it with something new and better. With a winch line, it's not quite the same. You don't want to have to break it. You want to make sure you pay attention to that and replace it before it gets to that point.
Hey, Tom, on your 4Fest stuff, when's the next one coming up? I think you were saying, I think it was actually before the show. Yeah, it was just a few days away.
Yeah, thanks. You're stressing me out thinking about that.
I'll do what I can.
So September 17 and 18, as Greg pointed out, we do have some activities leading up to that. Media Day is September 16th, and there'll be some really cool stuff that comes out of that. Little preview. Not sure if I'm supposed to say this out loud yet, but what the heck.
I like this guy.
We are going to debut, speaking of EV stuff, the global release of the new King of Hammers Ultra 4 EV will be at Detroit 4Fest on that Friday. So Dave Cole is a buddy, and he's flying in. And
Dave's going to be
guys
here?
from Hyper. Oh yeah.
Oh, good. I haven't seen Dave since King of the Hammers.
Yeah, he joined us last year as well, and that's where a lot of this got hatched, and that's kind of the story to be told next week. But Jake Hawksworth from Hypercraft, we connected them last year, and that's where this project kind of bloomed, and those guys, that team really deserves a lot of credit for that. But yeah, that'll be debuted next Friday for all the media to see, and no media guys are going to get to drive it. So just for clarity,
well, Chris is coming out. You met Chris at the Toledo Jeep Fest. So can Chris drive it? He's not media.
I not my put me on the spot. As much as I have been something of an advisor, it is not mine to say that.
It's a no, Chris. He's saying no a long way.
That's a long road to know. But going back to your question, Tony, about 4Fest. So yeah, Detroit 4Fest coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend, September 17 and 18. Lots of cool new additions to Detroit 4Fest this year, featuring some Ultra 4 competition there, which we have never done before, and so that's going to be great fun and a nice addition to the event. And as we always try to do, it's legit off-roading, and we love the idea that it brings out guys in bouncer buggies and brand new people that we get to say, hey, that lever in the middle, pull it back just one, and we'll try 4 high for a minute here, and let's do that. But great fun, and then 1 week in between, and then we go to Minnesota 4Fest, where we partnered with a great friend and colleague of mine, Travis Pastrana, and we've got Minnesota 4Fest and Nitro Rallycross all on one weekend. And for those that know who Travis Pastrana is, where Travis goes, the mayhem will quickly follow.
So
you're
Tom,
doing the Hidden Falls event next year?
Oh yeah, good question.
Wait, what was that question? I'm sorry.
I thought I heard that you were doing an event at Hidden Falls next year. It's our local park, so just curious.
Yeah, so I've been working and been down to visit a couple of times, and it is our intention that we will be at Hidden Falls next year. There's still a few details to sort out, but sometime a year, a little bit more than a year from now, we'll be down there, and we feel that Hidden Falls is for sure the location that is most suitable, and the team there is awesome, and Brian and all the folks there have been just fantastic to work with, and we love that whole Austin area. Lots of good vibes there. We've had Texas 4Fest in the past, up a bit north, kind of west of Fort Worth there at Northwest OHV, and in Bridgeport, and it doesn't compare to Hidden Falls. No bashing on them, of course, but it doesn't compare to Hidden Falls. Hidden Falls is just a superior facility to my eye.
Well, the terrain, I think, is what makes it. So it's just really what they say in real estate: location, location, location. It is an absolutely beautiful park. We had our Jeep Talk Show event in like June 7th or something. That's where we went. We've done that 2 years in a row now. So it's a great place.
Yeah, we really like it there, and I would think that in 23 you may see an event in the Southeast as well, and we're working really hard on something for the Southeast, and there seems to be a considerable demand for some additional events, and we'll walk slowly toward those things, but I think that people enjoy the idea of having real off-roading events and still have all the vendor village stuff and all of that, because that's an important part of it, and the gathering and food and music and all those other things that we all love to get together and do.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that impressed me the most, I think, about you and Jim is you guys are Jeepers. You believe in taking the Jeep off-road. It's not something that, look at this, we're just going to stand here and talk and look at the Jeep. It's like, let's get that thing out there and do something with it. And there's a bit of danger associated with that. Of course, we'll go back to what I said about danger earlier. Danger is fun, especially when it's controlled danger.
Yeah. Well, and so to that end, we have a great love for doing all of these off-road things.
Yeah.
And as a result, that's been a big part of stuff. And I was laughing with a buddy of mine going back a few weeks because he busted out some old pictures. I won't identify just how old I am, but I may have had a new CJ in 1980. And he got out a bunch of old pictures. And going back to somebody's point about cable versus synthetic, there may be a photo of my Jeep hanging in a tree by its winch cable. And so that's not an endorsed activity at all.
No, but it's a great way to change the oil. Well, I guess it wouldn't be. I remember seeing advertisements like that in four-wheel drive magazines back whenever I had my first four-wheel drive, which was in 83. It was a short wheelbase Chevrolet pickup. And that was my first 37-inch tires way back then.
Yeah, we don't endorse that activity. I don't think that that's an appropriate thing to do, but perhaps in my younger years, that seemed like it was more appropriate at that moment than what it might be today, where I would discourage people from doing anything that silly.
No, of course.
But 1980, man, I was 3 years old.
No
That's great. Thanks.
No bragging.
That makes me the resident old guy. But,
hey, Tom, you say the Southeast. You mean the Southeast United States or Southeast Texas?
No, Southeast United States.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say my backyard isn't big enough for an event. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying.
Your neighbors may not like thousands of people gathering there.
Oh, they think we're nuts anyway with all these Jeeps in the driveway, so it doesn't matter.
You sure it's not the security cameras watching them 24/7?
Absolutely. Oh, and don't forget the drone, because I do drone patrol.
Oh my God. It's great. Anyway, it sure is a pleasure to engage with everybody and talk about this stuff that we love so much and all the fun associated with it and bringing Jim into the fold and it'll be great and happy to have Brandon or any of those guys join us because they're all super enthusiasts. Nick Kappa. All of these guys are just super enthusiasts, and I refer to them as the true believers. And
love that.
They really are. And I'm afraid in this vast corporate world that sometimes the true believers are either squashed by the accounting team,
yes,
or
that's my belief.
Whatever. And, which is too bad. But anyway, really we won't lament that.
Yeah, and with their very much a Jeep mentality, it's obvious that they've kept that from happening, which is wonderful. Hey, Tom, thanks a lot. Now, we want to remind everybody, you go to forfestevents.com to check out more of the events going on, because we're talking to people all around the country. So the Hidden Falls one, there's no reason for you to wait for Hidden Falls over a year away. There's other Forfest events coming up that you can find out about. Tom, how else can people find you? Are you on the social media, or are you on the TikTok and all those other ones?
Yeah, no TikTok for us, although some of my team members are telling me that I'm lame old fuddy-duddy and that I need to get in the game.
That's right.
So I suspect we may be there at some point, but on Instagram, Forfest Events is where we're at, and then same thing on Facebook, and you'll see all kinds of stuff on Facebook around Forfest Events and different specials and upcoming events and largely some pretty funny pictures from some off-roading adventures that we try to post up on there from time to time just to keep things lively and make people laugh. So that's good. And,
oh yeah,
and appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. And Tom, just thank you so much again. And of course, thank you for looping Jim in on this. And I hope we didn't get you in trouble.
Nah, not at all. Great stuff. And Jim's always game to do stuff. I'll end this with this funny story. A couple of years ago, I get a text from Jim, and it's New Year's Eve. And he says, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's New Year's Eve." He goes, "Well, you got the key to the gate. Let's go off-roading." So it's New Year's Eve. Let's go off-roading. What else would one do? And so that's just how it works. And there we were with our families out off-roading on New Year's Eve. And what better way could you do it than to grab the Jeeps and go do that? So
that sounds
on that happy note, yeah, thank you very much to all, and really appreciate it. And thank you for having us. And we'll anytime that we want to do that stuff again, that'd be great. And I'll make sure I send you some pictures. I know you can't be here, but I'll send you some pictures from Detroit Floor Fest to make you smile.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. And I want to thank you, the listener. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. Thank you for your continued support of the show. We can't do it alone, and of course, we wouldn't want to. And you're important. You're very important to just how good we are and how good we can be. Keep letting your friends, direct and social media friends, not the real ones, about the Jeep.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.